Good morning, scholars. Today I'm going to show you how to make a craft for your mom for Mother's Day. And all you're going to need is some paper. If you have colored paper, get some colored paper, green, pink, yellow, and then you're also going to need some white paper. And if you have the thick kind of white paper called cardstock, you're going to need a piece of that. If you don't worry about it. Just have a regular piece of paper. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to use shapes to make a cute flower pot for your mom, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get started with our thick paper or regular paper if you don't have the thick paper. And this is going to be just the bottom page, okay? So this is what everything is going to be glued to. So I'm going to write in the corner my artist signature, and your artist signature could be anything. My artist signature is a paw print. That's how I sign all of my art. You can write your name, you can write the first letter of your first name and the last letter of your last name, like mine would be S.A. for Sarah Abbott, or you can just draw a little picture to show that's your logo, okay? So I'm going to set this aside for a second, and then I want you to take your green paper if you have it, or you can use plain white paper and then color it later, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our hands to create shapes first, okay? So I'm going to turn the screen down so you can see it a little bit better. And what I'm going to do here is you have two choices. One, you can trace your hand like this, or you can make a cactus. So decide if you want to have a flower that has stems and there's flowers on top of each stem, or do you want to make your mom a cactus with a flower on it? So I'm going to start with my hand, and I'm going to draw it just like this. I'm going to be careful to trace around each finger. And you might need to ask somebody for help if you have a hard time with this, because it can be a little tricky to draw around each finger like that. Okay, do you see how I have my hand? Now I'm going to cut it out. And be careful when you're drawing around your hand because sometimes it gets a little messy. Okay, let's go ahead and cut this out. While you're cutting this, I want you to think about what your mom's favorite flower might be, or what her favorite color is. If you don't know, you could just guess and do the flowers that I'm doing. And if you want to try to ask her, you'll have to come up with a sneaky way to do it so that she doesn't know what you're doing, because this is a surprise, right? So we're going to finish cutting out the pinky. And I didn't cut right on the line. I left a little bit of space, and that's okay, because sometimes it can be tricky, and sometimes maybe you want to show those lines. I don't care if my lines show. That's why I kind of cut around them, so I didn't cut any lines off. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it right on top of my paper, okay? And now we're going to need some glue. Or you could also use tape. I'm just going to use a little tape to tape the bottom of the hand right here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of tape. And there's a trick that you can do, and you can take this is the sticky side, and you take the sticky side and you roll it until it sticks on itself. And now you have a sticky roll. If that's too hard, it might be easier for you to just use glue sticks or plain glue, okay? I'm going to stick this sticky part on the hand, and then it can lay down flat like that. And my flowers can come off the page a little bit, a little 3D. Okay. Now, you can do it this way, where you have a flower on each finger. I'm going to show you another way you can do it. So if I have my plain white paper, let's pretend for a second that I don't have any colored paper. I don't have any green paper. I just have white paper. So this is what you can do if that happens. I'm going to do a cactus this time. So you can choose which one you want to do. For the cactus, I'm going to squish all my fingers together like this. And I'm going to have just my thumb sticking out, okay? And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. I'm going to trace. Actually, you could also have your pinky sticking out. That might be cool too. So have your thumb and your pinky sticking out. And then you're going to trace around that. This is my cactus. To add some texture, I'm just going to draw some V's on it, upside down V's. And those upside down V's say, watch out, this cactus is pointy. Do you notice these V's, these upside down V's? They almost look like triangles without the bottom on there. So that's pretty cool. All right, and then the last step, if you're using white paper, you're going to need to color it. Cactuses are green, so I'm going to choose a light green. And then I'm just going to go through and I'm going to color on that. The nicest way to color is to color in the same direction. I'm not going like this or like this. I'm coloring everything in one direction, up and down, up and down, up and down. When you're coloring, I want you to take time to be a little bit more careful about it. Make your lines nice and pretty. I'm kind of in a hurry, so that's why I'm going a little fast. Okay. When you have your cactus finished, you're going to do the same thing that you did with the other plant. You're going to cut it out. So while we were doing this, were you able to find out what your mom's favorite flower is or what her favorite color is? Maybe you had to ask somebody else at home. Maybe another sibling knows, or maybe your dad knows. But either way, if it's not her favorite flower, I think she'll really like it because you worked really hard to make it for her. So even if it's not perfect, even if it's not her favorite things, I think she's still going to love it. Okay. Look at that cactus. How fun is that? Alrighty, I'm going to get rid of the trash. Get rid of the trash. So now I kind of have two ways of doing this. I want you to just pick one. It will be a lot simpler. I'm doing two just so that I can show you the two ways to do it. So same thing with the other plant. If you're doing your cactus, you're going to want to tape it down like this. And I'm going to put a piece of tape on the underside because I don't want tape hanging out everywhere. So I'm going to put the sticky roll right there, and boom, it's on my page. All right, now we're going to play with a little color. So even if you're not sure her favorite color, that's all right. I want you to just pick one, or you can even pick more if you want. If you have colored paper like this, then we are going to draw some shapes on the paper to make flowers, okay? So for the first flower, we can do a flower like a rose, and a rose is really crinkly, okay? So I'm going to start with a circle in the middle, and then I'm going to make W's. W, 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 and now a big W, a little W, and a big W. And you just make those W's all over this flower. And what you're doing is you're creating the layers that a rose has, okay? So I'm going to put some more on this side. And then you can give it a big, huge W for the bottom. What do you think? All you did was draw W's and you made a flower. Okay, go ahead and cut that guy out. Where did my scissors run off? There they are. This one's a little trickier to cut out because you have all those angles to go around. So if that's really tricky and you're having trouble doing that, then you can kind of just cut around the bottom like that. These are really good things to try cutting because you're working on your hand exercises. You're making your hands stronger and you're teaching your hands how to be able to cut little things, which is going to be important the older you get, okay? So when you're cutting, you're actually working on something important. Okay, I have my big giant rose, and now you can glue it if you only have tape, like I only have tape. Then you're going to take a little piece of tape. You're going to do the sticky roll again. And then you're going to put that on the back of your flower. And that's going to go right there on the side of your flower. What do you think? Is that the most beautiful cactus you've ever seen? So we used 2 letters to make the shapes on here. We used upside down V's to make the pointy parts of the cactus. We used W's to make the folds on a flower. Very nice job. Now I'm going to show you how to do this kind of plant, okay? With this one, you can make lots more flowers. So I'm going to take my white piece of paper because right now we're pretending I don't have any colored paper. So if you don't have any colored paper, this is what you do. You take this piece of paper. You could do another W flower with your W's all the way around it. W, 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 and a big W. This is going to be it's going to be smaller than the other one because you have to fit it on these little stems, okay? But let's say you're tired of doing the W's on that flower. So now we're going to do a flower like a daisy. You put a circle in the middle. And then you're going to make a loop, and a loop, and a loop, and another loop, and another loop, and another loop. See, I have 6 loops on that flower. And then if you want to go a little crazy, you can say, I'm going to do like a tulip. And a tulip looks like a big U on the bottom. And then you make some points, some zigzag on the top. And that's a tulip. Now we're going to color those. I'm going to say my rose will be pink. Kind of hard not to get the black running in there, isn't it? And I'm just coloring in those little W's. What color do you think a daisy is usually? Remember, if you've ever seen a daisy, it's usually bright yellow. It's that beautiful bright yellow. So I'm just coming in and I'm coloring all my loops. And then for the circle in the middle, you can use like an orangish color. Okay? And tulips are actually lots of different colors. You can see red tulips, you can see yellow tulips, there's some pink tulips, and I've even seen blue tulips. So you can pick whatever color you want and it will be beautiful no matter what color you choose. So I think I'm going to choose a color that's going to stand out a little bit. I'm going to choose a blue tulip. So let's draw that on there. Okay, and now we're going to do like we did with the other flowers. We're going to cut these out. Like I said, if you want to just shortcut on the rose, You can just cut a circle around it. If those W's are too hard to get, just cut a circle. That's going to go on a finger. Your daisy is going to be a little tricky, so if you need to shortcut that, cut a circle around it. That's going to go on a finger. Now your tulip is going to be easier to color or cut because it's got that one smooth line on the bottom. So we're just going to take our scissors. We're going to go around. We're going to go around. And now we go in those points. Dip. We go in this point. Dip. We go down again. Dip. And we go up again. Okay. What do you think? We're missing two. We're missing two flowers. So guess what? Now you're going to go back and you're going to pick your favorite flower that you liked to draw. And you're going to go back and you're going to make those again. So I'm going to do another daisy, loop, 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 loop. And I'm going to do another tulip. So big U, up, down, zigzag. And then you just color those however you want. I'm actually going to change it up again. I'm going to do a yellow daisy. And guess what? This time I'm not going to do a blue tulip because I'm going to make this a really colorful bush of flowers. So it's not going to be blue. I'm going to choose to make it, let's do orange. Let's do an orange tulip. That is one bright orange. Look at that. Okay. Might be easier when you're cutting just to cut off the big pieces first. And then you can come in and do a little bit more detail on this. Now, if you're an older kid, you should be trying to cut all the way around these petals, okay? But if you're just learning how to cut, it's going to be tricky at first. So you can just do it around like I showed you before. And our last one. Down, up, and we go around the tulip. Okay, very good. Now we're going to add those on. I'm going to space these out a little bit so the daisies aren't too close to each other. There we go. And look, you have made a beautiful flower bush. Now we're just going to glue those or tape those on, and then it will be finished. All right, now there is one more step that you can do that will add just one more piece of pizzazz to your big green flower bush, and that is to make it a nice pot. So right away, I'm thinking about what kind of shapes do I think make up a pot. If you look at this shape, it looks kind of like a tube, but if you look at just the shape, it's got a long diagonal side, it slants in, and this side slants in, and it comes to a bottom, and it comes to a longer top. When we have a shape whose sides slant, just like this, and they have a short bottom or a long top, that's called a trapezoid. So I want you to draw a trapezoid, and I'm going to measure this just to make sure that it's the right size. So if you see the green poking through, then you know how big to make your pot. So I'm looking to find those lines under the paper. I can see one line right there. I can see one line right there. So I'm going to draw my pot like that. Now I connect the lines. And I just made a giant trapezoid. Do you see that trapezoid? On the top, you're going to make this a little longer. You make this a little longer. And I want you to tell me, what shape am I doing now? We've got a long top, a long bottom, and the sides are exactly the same size. And so are the top and bottom. They're all matching. The sides match and the top and the bottom match. That's called a rectangle. So we made a pot using just a trapezoid and a rectangle. Now I want you to decorate that pot. I'm thinking my pot would look really good with some stripes. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make some stripes on my trapezoid, and then let's do some stripes on my rectangle. You can draw on there whatever you want. If you want to write your mom's name on the pot, you could do that even. And now I'm going to come in with some colors. And I'm just going to color some of these shapes. So let's get some pink in there. Let's get some pink right there. And then I think I'm going to also do some purple. So I'm coming in, I'm adding my purple. And then let's do one more color. Let's do, oops, I'm thinking about doing some blue. If you find out your mom's favorite color is pink, maybe you want to color the whole pot pink. It's up to you. You can color it however you want. Now we're going to do like we did with the flowers. We're going to cut this out. This is a very easy shape to cut. You're just making one long cut, one short cut. You're making one long cut. I'm going to trim that a little bit. One medium cut and one short cut. And I'm done cutting my pot out. Look at that. Okay, now we're going to take some tape and we're going to add that onto there. I'm just going to tape my flower pot down. And there you have a very nice little pot of flowers for your mom. If you want to go in at the top, you take your marker and you're going to write happy, H, A, happy has two P's in it, and at the end, the happy sound is actually a Y. Happy Mother's Day. So, O, Z. Like in the word the. That's going to be a T-H-E. Mother. Is S. Is R. Mothers has an S at the end and an apostrophe before the S. Happy Mother's Day. Day is a word that we've been learning how to spell just by doing our calendar every day. D. And the two letters making the long A sound is an A and a Y. And we're excited about it, so let's put an exclamation point. Happy Mother's Day. And then you can write love and your name on there. If you did the cactus instead, then you're going to go in and you're going to make your pot exactly the same way as we just did for our other plant. You're going to make a trapezoid, just like this. And you're going to make a rectangle on top. And this time, I think I'm going to make let's make some nice little W shapes on there. It'll be a fancy little pot this time. Alright, and I'm just going to color it black on the top. And I'm going to color it black on the bottom. Not all pots have to be rainbow colored, right? Some can be a little bit darker, a little bit classier looking. Perfect. Take your scissors, just like we did before. You're making a shortcut, a medium cut. And if you cut off part of the rectangle, that's all right. It still looks like a pot. And now I'm going to tape that onto my cactus plant. So we put some tape at the bottom. And let's put some sticky roll on the other side. It's really better to try to glue it, but if you don't have glue, then you're doing what I'm doing. Just using some tape creatively. Alrighty, so now we have our cactus potted. Our cactus is in the pot. And we're going to write our message at the top like we did before. Happy, H-A-P-P-Y, Mothers, M-O-T-H-E-R-S, and day. Exclamation point. And if you want to do, you could do a little fancy www all the way around. All right. And there's your cactus. So whether you made the cactus for your mom or whether you made the colorful flower bush for your mom, I'm sure she is going to love whatever you did because you just used some cutting skills, you used some shape skills, and you used some fancy art to make her something that she's going to love and to show how much you love her too. Alrighty? It was fun helping you through this craft, and I will see you next time. Bye!